she's just a psychopath to be a psychopath. But they're just people in my brain. I thought it was going to end one way, and nope, it ended a whole different way that surprised the heck out of me. And it was because the character said, this is what happens. You're not telling me what I'm doing. I don't care.
Yeah. Sara, welcome to the podcast. Thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to be here and to chat about your book, The Dollhouse.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm always willing to talk about my book.
So let's jump right into it. Let's start with a pitch for The Dollhouse.
I've been told it's sort of like Saw meets Flowers in the Attic with some Silence of the Lambs and a little bit of room. But it's about a man who's trying to recreate his past based on a photo album that he has of his family history. And so he keeps abducting people, young people who look like he did as a child. And then he makes them reenact scenes, but he tells the stories differently than what the photos show. So it's a little bit dark. There are 3 teenagers in it, but it's definitely not YA. And it was really fun to write. It was my first book, but so it got a lot of love and a lot of time, and I researched everything. It was inspired by Shasta and Dylan Groney, who are in Idaho, were abducted in Idaho, and Elizabeth Smart, who was taken out of Utah, I believe. So it was inspired by them, but it's not at all, based on their cases. It's just the bad guys in those cases were interesting to me.
Okay, so you started with the idea of just having seen those cases, and then you thought, so how did that work? You thought, oh, I should write a story like this, and then where did the idea inspire from then?
No, I've always had a really twisted brain, and so since I was a little kid, I've retold stories differently than they were actually written, like fairy tales. I would change the endings, and so I just started like, so what's Elizabeth Smart going to be like when she gets away from this, or I don't know if you're familiar with the Dylan and Shasta Groney case, but only one of them, they were 7 and 8 when they were taken, and their family was killed in the process, and only Shasta survived. And I kind of just wondered what she would be like as she got older. So it was more me imagining their futures a little bit.
Okay.
And I, as you do too, as a writer, we have crazy imaginations. We can make a walk around the block turn into all sorts of chaos if we let our brains go. Yeah,
absolutely.
So,
yeah. There's a lot of fun in that.
Yes, exactly. Although I don't know, sometimes our family members might get tired of it, but it's fun. It's nice having that kind of a weird brain that sees bodies where there probably aren't any, but maybe, who knows what's behind closed doors.
Yeah. Well, I have to commend you on the book blurb and that for this book. I mean, I happen to like dark psychological thrillers as well. I kind of write a little bit of those myself.
Yes, you do.
And when I read this back cover blurb, I was like, I have got to read this book. So it sounded so good. So I had to jump in and find out what's happening here. And
good.
And you did a great job just pulling me right in, like right from the first page with Angel and Bud and their, what's going on with them. And
thank you.
And it just pulled me right in. So it was very good. I haven't had a chance to finish it yet, but I'm
you haven't?
Definitely getting into it.
You probably have a pretty good twist coming then. So, okay, good. It's fun to hear how people respond to that.
So what was the writing process like for this book? Was it fast? Was it messy? Was it like really structured?
All of the above. I wrote it during COVID because I was bored. My day job, it was work from home, which was fine. I'm a big time loner. I'm fine to be by myself, not talking to other humans a lot. But I had extra time because even like the nonprofit boards I was on weren't getting together. So I thought I'd been writing my whole life, but never ever seriously, really. I mean, my career has always involved writing. So fiction, it was like, well, now's the time to write that book. So I did. And for that book, I hired 2 different developmental editors who had very different views on things. So I kind of realized, okay, they're not the be all end all. They're just opinions. And then I have to make the final choice. I learned a lot about both the writing process and the publishing process from that book. I'm still learning from that. But I like to say I'm not a pantser and I'm not a plotter. I know, like, I'm driving from Iowa to LA and I want to stop in Vegas. I know what's going to happen at the end. I know where I'm starting. I know a major point in the middle, and I don't know how I'm going to get there. I might decide to go through Colorado, or I might decide to drop down and go south. I'll find out as I go. As long as I hit my middle and my end, that's pretty much how I write.
And what kind of research did you have to do for this book?
For that one, I did a lot of reading about the cases that inspired me. And then I actually lived in Casper, Wyoming, where it's set for a year as a kid. So I didn't have great memories. And I thought that'd be a good place to put this book. The one thing I had to really research was I had to find out, I don't know if you're to the part yet. Has Angel been to a store, to the little shop yet?
No.
Okay. Well, so you don't, okay. There's a point in there where basically Netflix video, the original videos that you would get in the mail and ship back, that becomes important. So that part, I got to actually talk to the people at Netflix to find out what the process was about a certain thing. That was pretty fun. So that was the only research that was not, just me being a loony bird.
What about the loony bird research?
That's just me trying to figure out how far I can go with things.
You mean like on the psychological elements, like how far can I take?
Some of I don't know how far you've gotten, but there's some parts, like I said, some people say it's like the Saw movies. Okay. There are some games that are played that involve power tools and things like that. And so one of my good friends is a woodworker. And so we spent a lot of time in his shop trying to figure out how some things would work. So things like that, which are fun. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's fun. I mean, it's good.
Yeah. It would, yeah. Well, because I can imagine it would be a lot of research into the psychological too, because I mean, this is book one. So you're kind of setting up how this is going to continue, but like that kind of trauma, like what are the effects of that kind of trauma and how are they going to come out? That would be a lot to look at.
I actually did. I sort of forgot about this, but I shouldn't have. I hired a psychologist who specializes in trauma to review it and make sure I had both his story and the kid's story correct, because some of the kids maybe continue in other books. And that doctor became a character in the series. Oh, nice. So she's inspiration for a character in the series. Yeah. So that was pretty cool. It was important to me to honor and respect people who've been through bad stuff. I didn't want to make fun of it or make it a joke. So, or make stuff up about mental health. I know sometimes in TV and movies, people will do something for the plot. And I wanted to make sure, of course, I have to do it a little bit, but I didn't want to do it absolutely over the top. So I did have her check. She reviewed the book and we talked in deep discussion about how certain characters would react to certain things now and in the past and in the future. And that was a big deal for me.
So is there anything you got in like the earlier drafts, let's say from the developmental editor or from your psychologist, that you kind of got wrong, that you learned and thought, oh, wow, I didn't think of that. And now I have to like adjust the book a little bit.
Not really, and this may be TMI. I went through some trauma, my younger life. And so some of this stuff is kind of based on me without the extreme reactions to what happened. So no, not really. The one thing I got from the developmental editor that I thought was funny is he did not, there was a man who was in his 60s, but he's put out a bunch of books and movies. And then there was a younger woman who is like 26 or 27. Very different views on things. He did not like that I have the bud swear. And I would not let go because I'm like a young man held captive with his sister and another girl. And he's not big and the captor is big. He's going to fight back with whatever tools he has. And to a teenage boy, swearing and acting tough is the only thing he would have. And that was one that she said, yes, that was definitely how a kid that age would act. So that was interesting.
Yeah.
But he hated it. He was like, nobody's going to buy your book because he's swearing. And I'm like, wait a minute. We're talking thrillers in 2020, whatever, one. They'll be okay. They'll be fine with it.
And I thought it was good because he didn't have like a normal upbringing. Like they're already struggling. So he's getting his parenting essentially is coming from, well, whatever kind of media and stuff and friends that he's getting, right? So swearing would definitely be part of that. Yeah. Especially when that's, it's kind of accepted more so now than ever.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Was there ever a point where you almost gave up on the book, on writing the first book?
No, I was obsessed with it. I was driving everybody crazy talking about it. It was all I talked about to my poor friends and family. I have the bad habit in both writing and life of I keep going with things far beyond where normal people give up. I've had 2 businesses that have both I've done that. And all of my books, I just keep going. I don't know. I think because I know the end, I don't have that problem of, oh, I don't know where this is going. I think I'm done with it.
Yeah.
I think knowing the end does help avoid that. It might get messy in the middle and I might get frustrated and screaming and wondering what the heck I'm doing. And there's always imposter syndrome about, you're a terrible writer. Why are you doing this? Blah, 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 which you may know too. Yeah. But no, I've never thought about quitting a project once I was in. I would say if I've got more than 10,000 words, I'm good. I'm not stopping. Yeah. That Dollhouse is the longest of my books though, because the feedback I got from a lot of reviewers and readers was, this is too long. And the funny thing is they all said, you needed an editor. And I'm like, I paid for 2 editors.
Yeah.
But that book was 100,000 words. And most of my new thrillers are much shorter. They're between 60 and 70. Because the other thing is I like dialogue and I like action. I write books that are more like a movie. There's not a whole lot of introspection or a whole lot of pondering for the wallpaper. I won't read it when they're like that. I skip it. And so I don't write it. So for good or bad, if people are looking for a deep read, I'm probably not their person.
Yeah. Yeah. I liked how fast it moved. I mean, I'm also like, it's a thriller, right? You're right. Hoping for it to kind of get going a little bit. Yes. Sure, we have to take a breath at points, but I really enjoyed how fast it was. And,
thank you. Yeah. Thank you. Have you read any S.A. Cosby books?
No, I have not.
Oh, well, I highly recommend them for one, but they're crime fiction, but they have a little bit of a literary bent to them in that he likes similes a lot. Okay. I've heard he's only allowed to have 3 similes per page or something like that because he likes them a lot. But he's the only author that I know of that I will sit still and listen or read his explorations of the wallpaper, because he does it in such a way that it's still moving the story. So, some people can get away with that. Just not me. I'm not that talented.
Yeah. That was C.S. Crosby, you said?
S.A. Cosby.
S.A.
Cosby. He wrote, his newest book is King of Ashes. He's also got Razorblade Tears, All the Sinners Bleed. I think he's got 5 books out now. But if you read they're crime fiction and they're very, Blacktop Wasteland. I think made me cry harder than any crime book ever has. So if you like that kind of stuff, and it's based in the American South, so it's he's Black and his characters are African American and living that life, and it's a deep dive, but it's so good.
Oh, I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, highly recommend. Are you in Canada?
Yeah, I'm in Ottawa. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. The boot is. I'm like, I catch a Canadian accent there.
Yeah.
Didn't realize.
So what would your book it's kind of pumped up as, or from what I gather, it was like a psychological thriller. Would you say for readers, is it like a horror psychological thriller? Like, would you throw horror in there?
Yeah, it's a little bit psychological horror, which I don't know if we have that as an official genre yet, but we should. Yeah, it's very much psychological horror. Okay. It's not crime because it's not, traditional crime thriller. It's definitely psychological. And it's bordering on horror. One thing I don't tend to write, I figure our brains, like the reader's brains, and especially for writers, we're much worse when it comes to envisioning something. If we're given just enough information that our brains take over, I know we make it way worse than the author ever could. So I like to do that to readers. I like to let their brain do the deep dive on the gore and the physical stuff. I just give them enough to get them there.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's not there's a lot of intensity, but there's not a lot of physical description of blood and guts or anything like that.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So with the characters, how did you come up with the characters? And let's say, I guess Angel, Bud, and
Olivia.
Yeah. So who, like, how did you come up with them? What was, like, I know the inspiration came from.
Yeah. So Elizabeth Smart was Olivia, and Angel and Bud were Shasta and Dylan, although the ages were changed on all of them. Basically, I envisioned who would be good to be in this. So Angel is very shy and very timid and easily made insecure because of her relationship with her mom. And Olivia is very stoic and very, it is what it is. So I'm going to just, exist and do the best I can. And she's a little bit like bossy older sister, even though they're not by birth related, because they're together for quite like 6 months or something. I don't remember now. And she is very mothering in a weird way, but not mothering, but more the attitude of, I know it's better for you kind of thing sometimes. So I don't know. This is another one of those weird things. I lived in an orphanage for the year I was in Wyoming. And I was thinking about some of the relationships of the girls that were in the dorm that I was in, and how, you can be a year older and then you act like you know everything. And the person that's a year younger than you, they're just a kid. And it was very much that dynamic. So that applied a little bit in this locked up environment. So I think that helped. And then the bad guy is the bad guy.
Yeah. So do you build, when you're building characters, do you just start the story and then the character comes to life for you? Or is there like an interview process with the character to get to know them sort of?
I'm character first, which is interesting, I think, to me, that they come to me fully formed. They tell me who they are. I don't have to do anything. Even the bad guys, like the bad guy in the Dollhouse, he has a pretty interesting backstory. And I'd say that's true of all of my bad guys, except for one in The Hunted. She's just a psychopath to be a psychopath. Yeah. But they're just people in my brain. I just finished and put out the Doll Master, which is the follow-up. There's a few books in the series, but the Doll Master is sort of the second half of the Dollhouse. And I thought it was going to end one way, and nope, it ended a whole different way that surprised the heck out of me. And it was because the character said, "This is what happens. You're not telling me what I'm doing. I don't care." Yeah. Okay. So thanks for that book.
Yeah. I used to outline a lot and in detail. I think the first book I wrote had like 40,000 words of an outline, which is almost a written book that was just had no detail in it. Wow. But then when I really got into the story of actually writing, the characters came to life, and then I realized, wait, they're not going to do these things. And then I just went with the story in a totally different direction. Yeah. So by the time the book was done, I think maybe like 15,000 words were actually useful. And wow. So now I don't do these gigantic outlines anymore. They're just like you. It's kind of like beginning. I usually know the middle and then the end. So I have like the 3 acts sort of somewhat figured out, but I don't do characters really deep. So I also jump into, allow the story to go wherever it goes, because characters will do what they do. And once you get to know them, it's like, wow, like this person is just so fascinating, and this is what they're going to do. And it's so fun.
And they have those little like mannerisms that they insist on, that I don't know. I feel like there's some part back here in our brains that knows what they're doing, but like all of a sudden you'll have a character that does a certain thing or says a certain thing all the time, and you're like, did I consciously do that, or did they project that through my fingers onto the screen? I mean, it's weird. Yeah, we're all a little bit nuts, I think, but in a good way, in a nice, safe, good way. Yeah. Better to do this than actually go around killing people.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. And so what character was the most fun to write?
Angel is my favorite, I think, because I connect the most with her. There is a character in Small Gods, which is 5th, I think. Yeah, 5th. That she, again, all of my characters are like me, even the bad ones, but she is, again, very much like me at my worst. And that was fun to write because I got to let out my bad side, MD bad. But I'd say Angel's the one I'm most attached to. I have a character named CB who comes up in The Hunted, and she's kind of like a little bit J-Lo. She's a badass 5'0" who wears pink but drives a semi. And she's mouthy, and she's actually from kind of a well-bred family in Chicago, but she doesn't live that life. So she's one of my favorite characters to write because she just is so mouthy and in your face and sassy, and she dresses cute and weird. So that's fun to write. I like the fact.
I love that.
Yeah. And then on my cozy side, I have some great characters. Like I have a guy named Marv who runs a convenience store called Pump and Circumstance, and he's always inventing things. And so he's like Henry Winkler when he's 70. And I don't know. So I love characters. Characters are my favorite thing on the planet. If I could just write characters all the time, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Who's your
And
favorite character?
so sorry, I just want to touch on
Okay.
who is your other books. Are they under the same name, Sara Ennis, or is
Yeah.
Cozy under
Well, the
something else?
cozies, no, the cozies are Sarah Isabel, because I
Okay.
figured the thriller people could wander into the cozies and would be okay, but if the cozy people wandered into a thriller, they would not be okay. So I wanted to put some space between them, but my website is just Call Me Sarah, because either way, it's me. So that's the best way to do it. But yeah, I'm careful. The thriller people know about the cozies, and the cozy people can discover the thrillers, but I don't want them to accidentally find that. They would not do well.
Yeah, I can imagine that crossover would be tough because if you like cozy and then you go to like your Dollhouse, that's not that's so
it's not gonna work.
Yeah, even if you wanted to try it, I would almost say I don't know.
No. I do
might
have
like the
people
writer,
that read
but
both. Yeah, I do have people who like both, but they started with the thrillers. It's fine to go from dark to light, but it's not good to start with the light and go to dark, I think. Because the cozies are funny. They're like laugh out loud funny. They're completely different than this. So,
yeah. Okay. So my favorite character from your book was Bud so far.
Oh, well, that makes
early
sense.
on, but
But I meant of yours. Is your book series, or are they one off?
I have both. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I jump subgenres of thrillers. So
okay.
I have a trilogy that's in a post-apocalyptic setting, and then I have a military thriller, and then I have a psychological. So I kind of jump all over the place.
We can't all stick to one. We're not good at it.
Favorite characters. That's a good question. Well, there's one character. It's same thing. I like the spunky, fun, confident character. In my book 2, it comes out on Tuesday actually.
Oh, congrats.
Called The Chosen. It's book 2 in the trilogy, and there's a character in there called Poppy, and she is just fun because she has that like I'll take on anything. I'm not afraid. Despite being in a wheelchair, she has found in this post-apocalyptic world how to get by and be an impactful part of their group. So
wow. So what inspired?
She was a lot of fun to write.
Who inspired her? Anybody, or you just made her up?
I think I just made her up. Yeah, she just popped into my head during that scene. I was like, they heard the creaking of wheels, and then all of a sudden Poppy came.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
It was a lot of fun. Yeah.
So is she in both books or just in the second one?
She's not in the first. She's in the second and the third. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I've never read. Well, there's few, but I've never really read a post-apocalyptic thriller. Is there any humor in it at all? Or are they very serious?
Humor? No, it's dark.
Okay. Well, I don't. People say dark and funny.
Yeah. I don't do it. Yeah. Like Joe Abercrombie. Yeah. Oh yeah. Dexter too. Yeah.
And I do try to make Alfred funny. I wanted Alfred to think he was funny, even if nobody else thought he was funny. So there's some bad dad jokes in that book. Okay. Well, I might have to check it out and see if I can do purely dark. I've never tried that.
Oh yeah, for sure. I can send you a copy. I'd be happy to.
Well, sending from Canada to the U.S. is ridiculous. Don't do that. I'll go find it. But thank you.
So we're gonna get into a couple wrap up questions, and these are for authors that are listening.
Oh, okay.
What advice would you give someone who just published their first or second book? So they've kind of gone through that learning curve a little bit, and as you know, may or may not know, like it can be very challenging to get your book out there, to get it to an audience. So and to want to write the next one when the first one maybe doesn't do as well, because everyone thinks, it's my first book. Once it's out there, it's going to go big, and I'll be able to write full time. And it's almost never that way.
No, I would say, and I'm dead serious about this, find author friends. Because not only are they good for when you're having I'm going to quit and go work at Costco day, but they are also really good at advice. Like I'm redoing all my covers now because I paid a bunch of money for my first 3 covers. And I hired somebody who worked at Random House doing their covers, and I didn't know any better. And we went for cool covers instead of market covers. And people have for a long time thought that they were fantasy instead of thrillers because they don't look at all like thrillers. So I spent $3,000 on covers that did not do me any service. So I don't necessarily have a great eye for covers. And so I have my group of thriller writers. We have a little mastermind, and they are helping me help the designer redo my covers, because I'll think something's great and they'll point out, nope, why it's not great. Yeah. And I would never have got it. So have writer friends, because they can give you good advice. They will be honest. You can do things together. Like on TikTok, we have a shared TikTok account where we do book reviews of books, but we also talk about our own books. It's kind of like that. I think if you know what 20 books is, it's the rising tide lifts all boats. It's very much that philosophy. Yeah. So try to find some thriller writer friends if you write thrillers or whatever. I also have another group on the cozy side that's equally fantastic. That would be number one. Number two, listen to any Becca Syme podcast you can find, because she will help you keep your head straight. She really will. She will remind you this is not an overnight thing for anybody. Even like some of the people that we think of as overnight successes have got 13 or 14 books out before we hear about them and think that they suddenly are great. Don't give up. If you really enjoy it, keep doing it. If you would do it anyway, even if you weren't making money, then it's worth keep doing. If you're only doing it for money and you're not doing well, it might not work. I mean, you might as well, go find another thing that you like that might make you money, because it's going to break your heart. Yeah, it is so hard. It's hard emotionally. It's hard financially. It's time-wise. If you have a day job and you're trying to do that around it, I'm lucky in that I got laid off, so I ended up being able to write full-time. But financially, that was scary as hell. Yeah. And still is. I'm not, I do have to have side gigs to help. But you have to love it enough that you would do it even if you don't get great success. Otherwise, you're just torturing yourself. Yeah.
Anyone who thinks that this is a way to make money is there's way easier ways to make your fortune than
we could get into books. A whole conversation about Amazon and authors and all the ways that people think we get rich because our books are $14.99 on Amazon and we get $2 out of that. The big world doesn't understand how it works, but we do. No. Yeah. Yeah.
So if you could pick one thing that you felt led to your success so far, what would it be? Like, what worked best for you?
I lucked out. I had no idea what I was doing when I published The Dollhouse. I went on Instagram and found some people that talked about thriller books. And I very naively, I didn't realize this was something that all sorts of people did. I messaged a few of them and said, hey, can I send you my book? And I went and made this fancy little package that turned out wasn't fancy at all compared to what they actually get. But to me, it was fancy. I sent it to a couple of people and I just lucked out. They talked about it to their friends and they got their friends to talk about it. And it got past the hump of the cover not matching. Because if people just looked at the cover, they never would have picked it up. And I didn't know that at that point. So just lucky and trying, being too dumb not to know, not to do this, or that you're not the only one doing this, to think I was it. Just kind of going out and trying stuff, whether it's going to work or hope it's going to work. 20 things that you hope are going to work aren't going to work, and maybe one will. Yeah. But the other thing I would say is I'm on TikTok. That's probably where I spend my most time. But I have noticed that Instagram is great for building awareness. You're not going to sell books there, but people will get to know who you are. The times I've noticed big spikes in my sales is when somebody unrelated to me goes and talks about my book in one of the reader groups on Facebook. That's gold. Mm-hmm. So if you can get somebody there to like your books, and talk about it, that's fantastic. The other thing is there's a bunch of Stuff Your Kindle days now. Have you done any of those where you participate and it's like the last one I did was 500 authors give away their book for free for a day, and they have emails and websites and all the stuff that goes out. And it started in romance. Now it's in all sorts of genres. I was thinking those aren't great anymore, because on a Stuff Your Kindle day, me, Sarah Reader, goes and looks at every book in this list and downloads it onto my Kindle for free. I now have 100 books on there that I'm probably going to, and then somebody I know is going to put a book out. I'm never going to get to that. Yeah. Maybe. I'm trying an experiment where I'm in a cozy one this next week. So the first book is going to be free, and I put the other 6 on a countdown deal. So because people, that's the goal, the hope is that if you get one for free, they'll go read your other books and they'll pay for them.
Yeah.
So people like things on sale. So hopefully when they click on my first book and then see the others in the series are on sale, they'll buy those. And then if they have more than one of my books on their phone, they might prioritize it. Oh, okay, I have 4 books by the author.
Exactly.
Read it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give that a shot. I have no idea if it'll work, but it did work for another friend of mine. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Yeah. So again, it's try whatever you can.
Yeah, for sure.
Look for stuff that's free, or at least not money out of your pocket. Like a Kindle Countdown deal doesn't cost you anything in cash, because that's the other thing, is everything's expensive. Yeah. I don't think BookBub feature deals work as well as they used to. Have you ever done one of those?
Yeah, I tried it. It didn't work very well. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. They just don't pay. They used to, but now they've got so many books in every email, you just get lost. And they're too expensive for that. So I think they're going to have to change their model. Yeah.
And they don't have post-apocalyptic. So they're still, they don't, get deep into the genre. So for me, I think they put my first book in like an action, and I think it was action adventure or something. And it missed because it's not like that audience. It was not the right audience. So.
Yeah. It's so hard. That's the thing. People don't realize that you're going to spend at least as much time trying to get people to know about your book as you do writing your book.
And that's a lot.
You really are. And it's exhausting, because at least the writing is fun. The marketing can be not that fun, especially because I had a book pop off and I have no idea why. I don't know why. So I can't go, okay, that worked because I did this, and go do that again. No, I have no clue why I did it. So I'm just like, okay, well, thank you. Now what do I do? Yeah. It's really frustrating. It's not the most happy business to be in, but it's satisfying if you like your stories.
Yeah, for sure. Well, congratulations on the success you've had, because you've done well. And I have so far really enjoyed the Dollhouse, and I will be getting more into that, and I will leave a review.
Okay. Well, I want to know what you think about the twist. I can't wait to hear that part.
Okay. So as we wrap up here, where can people find your book? And find you on social?
Amazon, because Amazon owns us, under Sara Ennis. And then I have a website called justcallmesara.com. And then I have Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook accounts. I have a private reader group on Facebook, but mostly there I just share inappropriate memes. So it's not, okay. But the people there appreciate it. So for if you look for Sara Ennis Writes, because there's also a stripper named Sara Ennis on TikTok anyway. So Sara Ennis Writes is me. I keep my clothes on, which everybody appreciates. But yeah, if you just look for Sara Ennis Writes anywhere, you'll find me.
Okay, that's great. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for being here. This has been I had a wonderful conversation. Really enjoyed learning more.
It was fun.
And it was great. So if you don't mind sticking around for a couple minutes for some bonus questions, my newsletter subscribers get some bonus questions that others don't get. So
that's cool.
You have to join the newsletter to jump in on those bonus questions.
Very smart. Okay, yeah.
So thank you.
You're welcome. I want to hear about that.